Hey everybody, I'm Seth Carpenter. Thanks for tuning in to our first episode of View Jersey, where we challenge the claim that New Jersey is the armpit of America. My brother and I are from a small town in southern New Jersey called Pittman. Although there are a few great local parks and places to hike while we were growing up, we too assumed that New Jersey offered fewer places for outdoor exploration than other states. As we got a bit older and were able to venture out and find new places of our own, we began to realize that New Jersey had a lot more to offer than we had originally thought. After a decade of researching and going out and finding new places, we've come to realize that the armpit of America stereotype is not only unfitting, but that there is an abundance of beautiful places to explore all over this state. Today we're at the Commercial Township Wetlands Restoration Site in Port Norris, New Jersey. It's a great place for all different types of activities like walking, biking, geocaching, bird watching, herping, and it's just also a great place to kick back and find some peace and quiet up on the observation decks. Let's go check it out. One thing to remember is if you come here in the summer, it can get quite buggy, so I'd recommend bringing bug spray. Besides that, it's a really great, peaceful place, and you can see a lot of great animals and plants and just everything. One of my favorite things to do here when we come here is watch the sunset. It's got 2 observation decks, which you saw me in the beginning of the video. We'll check out the other 2, or I'm sorry, there's 3 actually. We'll check out the other ones as we go along, but it's one of the best places for sunset watching in the southern New Jersey region. Absolutely no motorized vehicles, remember that. Look at that. That's a peregrine falcon, I think. That's cool. Like I said before, this site is located in Port Norris and Commercial Township, and the nearby towns of Bivalve and Shell Pile are right nearby. As you can see, there's no shortage of shells. This lines the whole path because this was a very big oyster town back in the day, and it still is to a certain extent, and a lot of fishermen and oystermen leave in the bay over here. There's a fish factory right there in Port Norris. There's all kinds of different bird species here at the restoration site. You can see anything from a marsh wren, a red-winged blackbird, herons, ospreys, and even bald eagles. We saw one earlier today, but weren't able to get it on film because it was far away. But if you come here in the winter, there's more than plenty of them to see, along with all the other different types. It's a really great place for bird watching. All right, now we're on the second observation deck. The first one's over there. There is a trail that you can take that we filmed some of in the earlier clips that takes you all the way around to here, but we decided to drive. There's also a parking lot. This is probably my favorite spot in the whole place because it's really good for watching the sunset because it faces west. It also gives a really good view of the marsh, I think a little bit better than the other side, but they're both awesome. All right, so we originally came across this area because we have family from the area. Our great-grandfather's from Newport, which is a nearby town, and his wife, our great-grandmother, was from Port Norris. Her father and her brothers were all oystermen, which probably left from some point on the bay around here. And our great-grandmother actually lost two of her brothers who went out on an oyster boat in a storm and somehow fell off the boat and did not come back. This is another one of my favorite parts of this. I love this trail. If you follow that down, we'll reach the third observation deck, which overlooks the bay, which we'll also check out as well.
Welcome to Luke's Garden State Plant Minute segment time. This is Queen Anne's lace, which is also known as wild carrot because it produces a root that is kind of carrot-like, and it can be eaten, but only before the plant flowers. After the plant has flowered, the root becomes too woody to really be consumed. The flower, on the other hand, can be consumed, and it can be prepared in a number of different ways or even just eaten raw, and it can be used as a diuretic. The seeds of Queen Anne's lace can also be made into tea.
Two observation decks not enough for you? Well, here at Commercial Township Wetland Restoration Site, we got three. If you walk to the far end of the site here, you find this observation site overlooks the backside of the marsh and also the bay, which we'll take you to in just a second. After a nice long walk past the observation decks looking over the marsh that's always teeming with wildlife, it's fun to come down here to the bay and just kick back. Breathe in that salty air, smell the dead fish from the factory over there. You could fish, you could boat, you could magnet fish, you could sit, you could sun, do whatever you want. But this place is great. A nice cap to the beautiful trail that takes you down here. Boy, I like it. Woo. Just don't slip on the rocks. So far, we've seen all kinds of wildlife, beautiful trails, marsh, and even the bay. But if there's one thing I like just as much as all this beautiful outdoor exploration, it's urban exploration and abandoned buildings and houses. Let's check it out. All right, let's get out of here. All right, and for the last part of our journey today, we've crossed over the road from the restoration site and decided to show you the Port Norris Pathway, which is a bike trail that starts in downtown Port Norris and ends back where we were by the bay. Let's check it out. So to finish up here on the Port Norris Pathway, this is about a mile, maybe a little less trail that takes you through the woods and brings you back out over a bridge and back to the area at the bay and the marsh where we were before. This is a really great place, like you've seen. You got woods, you got bay, you got marsh, you got observation decks, you got trails, and all kinds of wildlife, like I've said many times throughout this video. This place is great. I'd recommend it for anybody who wants to get away from town and just experience the wonder that is not Armpit, New Jersey. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope you'll come back next week.